Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 642 of Screw the Commute podcast. I'm here with Marty Martinez, and every September we honor our veteran entrepreneurs, and this is Vetpreneur Month. And Marty is a great veteran that's helping other veterans and civilians with their business. We'll get to that in a minute. Also, he's been running triathlon since 1989, and maybe he's going to help out our civilian population a little bit with some of their acronyms. Like maybe he'll tell us what, I don't know, FNG stands for. So I want to check with him on that. And I saw him bantering with a Navy SEAL, John McCaskill, and I think Marty will be happy with me because I turned down an appointment to the Naval Academy. So I know they like to banter back and forth. So that should make Marty happy. All right, and I hope you didn't miss episode 641. That was Brian Stacy, a great veteran that has Tricon Fitness. Boy, he doesn't pull any punches, man. There's no excuses with this guy. That was episode 641. And if you want to get to a back episode, you go to screwthecommute.com/ and then the episode number. 641 was Brian, and today will be 642 with Marty. All right, pick up a copy if you have anything to do with business, or even if you don't have anything to do with business. If you download this ebook I give away, it has saved me, we actually estimated, over 8 million keystrokes. It's called How to Automate Your Business, but it's really how to make your computer work go lightning fast with cheap and free ideas they're right in front of you. Probably nobody just taught them to you, so that you can spend time doing the things you love. And if you're in business, spending more time with customers and prospects and developing products and services, which is where the money is. All right, so grab a copy of that book at screwthecommute.com/automate free, screwthecommute.com/automate free. And while you're at it, pick up a copy of our podcast app at screwthecommute.com/app. That's APP. And you can put us on your cell phone and tablet. Take us with you on the road. All right, let's get to the main event. Marty Martinez is here. He's called the MOAC. I think I know what that means, mother of something, I think. But he's a brand and marketing strategist who partners with CEOs, executives, and solopreneurs to grow their personal and professional brands. And human to human, he does it through the power of story. And this is not woo-woo stuff, folks. This is highly effective things in the business world. He spent nearly a decade working on marketing for the U.S. Army in the Pentagon with Army G8, I think, or G8s. I'm not sure what that is. A multi-million-dollar defense contractor and startup. So he knows what truly drives conversions, sold-out launches, and how to land big interviews. All right, Marty's been covered by the Washington Post, Stars and Stripes magazine, Fox, ABC, NBC, CNN, and he was a featured speaker at PodFest Multimedia Expo. And he's got this best-selling book, How to Speak Civilian Fluently, and he'll help me with that as we go. So, Marty, are you ready to screw the commute?
Let's screw.
Let's screw, right? Well, good. Glad to have you here. Myself and all our listeners, thank you for your service. We know we really appreciate the sacrifices you've made for us so that we can do the things we're doing. So I want to take you back a little bit first, because I understand Fort Hood is a little mad at you because you really didn't want to go there when you got into the service, right?
Yeah, no, I'm from Texas, and when I was a ROTC cadet, I found out that I was supposed to go to Fort Hood. I was like,
that's like
no,
down the street, right, from you, right?
Yeah, I was, in the Austin area, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. So I asked how I can get out of it. And they said, well, you got to find someone willing to trade. And for the next few months, I just tried to figure out how to get out of that, because I wanted to continue to jump out of planes, which I'd been doing for 8 years prior.
Wow.
And it actually worked out. I found some people wheeling and dealing. And when I was in the infantry officer basic course, and was able to trade. I think it took me like 3 or 4 trades, and I finally wound up at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, at the 82nd Airborne.
It's not far from me. And one of our great veterans, friend of mine, was military spouse of the year there, and also a Marine Corps vet. But you said you were jumping out of planes for 8 years prior to going into the service?
Well, I had enlisted into 1st Ranger Battalion, and I did long range surveillance. And then I decided to trade in the stripes and become an officer. And that's why, after that, I'd already been jumping out of planes for 8 years and went into 82nd with 8 years of experience, which is where the MOAC comes from.
And that's, I threw in the word mother, but it's master of all something knowledge, or what is it?
Yeah, master of all knowledge, which if you know anything about second lieutenants in the military, especially second lieutenants in the infantry at the 82nd, we know like 2 things, jack and nothing. And so, but I came in again with 8 years experience. And as I'm sitting there as a second lieutenant, I'm talking to all the NCOs, non-commissioned officers, sergeants, and the others. And I'm saying, no, I like this and this. And it's based on, my experience already in the Ranger Battalion. They were like, who is this guy? And so James Belts, who was here on one of your shows,
right.
I think last
year,
my business partner, he was my executive officer. So what he loves to tell everybody is he was my boss for about I don't know how long he makes it up to now, but it was literally about 5 days. But he tells everybody he's my boss. And so he's the one who gave me the title MOAC, which is a play on the mother of all bombs, but it's the master of all knowledge.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah. So we just keep playing with it. So now we've even got our own coffee line out, which is the MOAC blend, and it's the mother of all coffees. So.
Well, I heard you talking to this Navy SEAL guy, and that's when the term FNG came up, and he actually made one for his baby's onesie. So without making this an explicit episode, tell everybody what that's all about.
Yeah, so FNG is the friggin' new guy.
Yeah.
I'll keep it at that. Keep it PG. And so that's when you're the new person on the team and you're trying to figure everything out, but you're also kind of a pain in the butt because everyone has to stop and train you and, or they have a lot of fun with you. And so that's the FNG. And so you don't want to be in that position for too long.
For too long, right? Yeah. See, I was a charter pilot, freelance charter pilot for a long time, and we would do that to the new guys in the hangar. We would send them for some prop wash.
Yeah.
Or one of my favorites, we sent this guy for a metric Phillips head screwdriver.
Oh geez.
So you don't want to be the FNG for all, but that was just I have to say, even though he's a SEAL, that was a brilliant thing to put on his baby's onesie.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I got a kick out of that. John, you're talking about John McCaskill.
Yeah,
he's
right. Yeah,
great guy. I was telling him before he came on our show, Lounge of Legends, that we've always got this rivalry between Rangers and SEALs and Army and Navy and everything. And it was funny because one of my really good friends, Mike Nolan, he's a SEAL, and we would always go out and do PT, physical training, and just always trying to outdo each other. And something about SEALs, they love to mess around with the dang logs. And so there we are in Germany running around the woods carrying a dang log, and then doing it at lunch. The rest of the sane people are actually eating lunch. We're running around, the woods of Germany and Kaiserslautern, carrying a log through the woods. And then we come back and now we've got bark on our neck and we've got scrapes and bleeding and stuff like that. And they're like, what did you guys do? And I'm like, the SEAL wanted to pick up a log. So.
Yeah. We see this on TV all the time when they show little snippets of SEAL training, and we're thinking, what's the practical application of that exactly? I'm not sure. It must be something. So you got a book, How to Speak Civilian Fluently. Is that to help transition people out of the military when they get out of the military? What is that?
Yeah, so that's we partner with Eric Doc Wright. He's the CEO of Vets to PM Project Management, and he wrote this amazing book, How to Speak Civilian Fluently, Improve It with Your Credentials. And he asked us to contribute in there. And what it really is and it's a lot of what we talk about, is the transition and transformation out of the military. You can't go in, and if you're a veteran out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say you can't go in and knife hand everybody, that stern hand, and put that in everyone's face. You can't call everybody the F word, even though we do it in the military. It's like a salutation, good morning, effers. You can't do that. It's kind of not, it's frowned upon, but it goes in detail about all these different things on how to do it, and then really prove it with your credentials. Eric does a great job of helping veterans get project management credentials. And so I was honored to contribute to that. And James contributed as well, James Phelps, because it's a really good book. And we actually, we love to give that away for people that reach out to us and give them a copy of that for free.
Yeah, that's beautiful. But I was thinking what you just said a minute ago, somebody goes in, apparently, you can do anything with kindergartners nowadays. I can imagine going in there for the first day of school. Good morning, you little effers.
Right.
I think they're doing it. The thing is, Marty, they're doing worse than that, really, nowadays with the little kids. That would be the least thing that they did. So
I don't know if Florida knows what they're getting into, but
oh my God. So tell people. Tell everybody how you're working with people now. It's not just veterans either, right?
No. We started by focusing on veterans, veteran entrepreneurs, family members, people that want to be small business owners. And we've expanded. Now we help real estate agents. We help people that are friendly to the community. One of our clients is he helps with veteran placement in IT services. And so what we do is help them get their messaging right. James and I are at JTF 214, Joint Task Force 214. We are Story Brand Certified Guides. And what that means is basically if you read the book, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, we're certified by their team to help people clarify their message through the power of story. And it changes a lot, because a lot of times you've seen it, I've seen it, where you're driving around and all it is are these billboards talking about their product. And it's just that you're driving by, looking at it. It doesn't really resonate with you.
You hardly even see it anymore. And especially online, they call it like banner, blindness, it just doesn't even register at all.
So, yeah. So if you're going through websites or whatever, you have 3.5 seconds. How do you quickly grab someone's attention and bring them into a story? And that's what we do. We help them. We help them to not talk about themselves. We help them talk about their customers' problems. And once you obsess over your customers' problems or your prospects' problems, now they're interested in your brand, and then you can introduce yourself as the solution for their problem. That's how you start to create, increase your brand, start building super fans, and that's where we thrive.
No, and there's a lot of places that you guys help use the stories, like interviews and leadership development and handling change, which is constant. Lots of places, right?
Oh, absolutely. We for us, everything's about sales and marketing and negotiations, and it's not just business owners that utilize our services. I speak a lot to transitioning service members as we're going through this. As we get out of the military, whether you're retiring, you've just done one term of enlistment, you're getting out of the military, you've been changed. As we joked about with the knife hands, right? But you get out of the military, and the military does a really good job of helping you transition back into civilian life, but not necessarily to transform. And the transformation is what's going on in your mind. How do you sell yourself? How do you see yourself as an economic product? And how do you communicate that when you're going for a job interview? So again, the same construct of this power of story goes to a person who's trying to get a job, or an entrepreneur trying to gain more clients, increase their marketing reach and revenue.
Yeah, and I was really surprised. Now I have a student in my school he's going to be transitioning out after 17 years. He's doing stuff with yoga, and I heard you talking with Mr. McCaskill about mindfulness and meditation and yoga, and it's not something us civilians think of when we think of military people. But I guess it's a stress reliever and, clearing your mind, because most of you have seen things that we don't want to know about.
Well, it's not, yeah, and it's not just that too. It's also quieting the mind
Mm-hmm.
and getting the calm. And then once you can quiet the mind and get the laser focus, then you can go through and see how you want to execute a plan. In the military, whether you're a Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, or if you're an Olympian that's going to do the pole vault, you want to be able to see what you are going to accomplish. See the plan. It becomes muscle memory, and your brain can't necessarily tell what's live or what's Memorex, and it starts to wear in those grooves so that you can execute. It's part of like your planning, and it's going to help you become more successful.
Now,
And
I heard you say that you can't audible if you didn't have a plan to start with, which is,
right.
Yeah, which a lot of people are just winging it through life.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing, I did a blurb the other day or last week about Eisenhower, and it's, planning is everything. The plan is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear it, and that it comes from the saying, no plan survives first contact. Well, okay, great, but at least you've done the plan, you've done the due diligence to make sure that you've set the foundation to achieve success. And the other thing that we never plan for, and I'm guilty of it as well, is planning for catastrophic success. And that's where you go, oh, what if this thing does go like Grant Cardone? What if first time I've just 10x'd it all? Am I ready to acquire this many new clients? How am I going to service that? If I get this new job and I have to relocate next week, oh my gosh, am I ready for that? That's the catastrophic success. And you have to plan for that as well.
Also, if you hit it really big, you got a whole bunch of new friends come out of the woodwork.
It's true. In that lottery,
Yeah. Now, I love to, so many civilians are listening to this this month where we highlight veterans. We like to get a little picture into what, the inside scoop, I'll say. So I heard you say one time where some major came up to you and asked you if your hands were cold, and you smart aleckly said back, "No, because they're in my pockets." What does that mean?
So that's a sergeant major. Okay. And sergeant major is the top of the NCO ranks, and they're the enforcers.
NCO they want to make sure non-commissioned officer, right?
Right. Those are the sergeants.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the top of the food chain for the NCOs. And they walk around, they make sure we have good order and discipline. And one of the things, the pet peeves that we joke about, but it's actually true because every joke is based on truth somewhat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is get off my lawn and get your hands out of your pockets. And so I was walking around. It was cold. I believe we were in Poland, and it was like December, and I got my hands in my pockets. In the Army, that's a big no-no, and we call them Air Force pockets or hand warmers. So our major comes up, is like, "Sir, are your hands cold?" And I knew exactly where he was going with this, right? I've got like 20 something years in the Army. Right. I said, "Well, no, sorry, Major, my hands were in my pockets." And, he just looked at me like I was the biggest smart aleck, and he was like, "Okay, I'm not." He didn't even bite. He was just like, "Whatever." He just walks off, salutes, walks off.
Oh man, I love those insider scoops. Now, you get around a little bit. When I say that, I mean you run like crazy, and you used to be into mountain bike racing too, right? You like an adrenaline junkie or what?
I've always, hand-eye coordination was never my big thing. So didn't play a lot of baseball, didn't play a lot of football. I mean, I did for, around the neighborhood, but never for school. But I found out that I could run like the wind. Endurance was my thing.
Wow.
And so at an early age, I started picking up cycling and running. And when I picked up cycling, this was back in 1987, 88. Not a lot of people were doing it back then. Greg LeMond hadn't even won the Tour de France. 7-Eleven team was just starting to win some things in this little race in Italy. So people didn't know what it was. And here I am, this skinny little, 15-year-old riding my bike around South Texas and running everywhere. And so it just became who I was. And it became a passion, a lifestyle. And so from there, I did it in high school. I ran a lot, and then I did it in college, and I did mountain bike racing, road racing, and triathlons. And I took our teams to the collegiate nationals for Southwest Texas State University, which is now Texas State University in San Marcos.
Well, I've seen some of these YouTube videos of these mountain bike guys. I mean, was it just for speed, or were you like on a edge of a cliff where the GoPro looks like you're going to kill yourself any second, or what was it like?
No, I wasn't. No, for context, I did the majority of my racing in Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas, and not a lot of those crazy
flat,
mountains.
right? Okay.
You got the hills, the crazy hills,
Yeah.
and more mud and swampy than anything else. But yeah, it was for speed, but not for those crazy Colorado type hills and stuff like that.
Were you jumping over things and that kind
Oh
of
yeah,
stuff? Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's obstacles on the course. You're jumping over, and you're getting over stuff, but really, it's about getting from point A to point B faster than everyone else on the course.
Do you do that anymore?
So I'm going to get back into the mountain biking because I turned 50 this year, and my goals are to, even though I swore them off, I'm going to do another marathon. I'm going to do the Army 10 miler, which is a 10-mile race in honor of the AUSA convention here in October. And then I want to do an Xterra triathlon. So an Xterra triathlon is still swim, bike, run like all the other triathlons, but as if it wasn't hard enough already, we do it usually in a lake or an ocean. Then we do it on a mountain bike through all the arduous terrain, and then we run it on trails.
Yikes.
So it's a little bit of extra suck factor, I guess.
What kind of bike do you use for these things? And how long does the whole race last?
Yeah, so those races you finished in around 2 hours, those Xterras. My Ironman, I finished in 13 hours on average, and then my half Ironmans were 5 to 6 hours.
And they all involve bikes?
Yeah, all of them. All the events are the same for those. It's all swim, bike, run. So the Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and a 26.2 mile run. Or as my dad said, as I was getting off the 112 mile bike, "Hey, you've only got a marathon left." And I was like, "You were like the worst motivator ever." You could have said, "Hey, you're good job. You're 2/3 of the way done, son." But it reminded me that you had a whole marathon left.
Did you ever run into that guy that carries his disabled son on his back or something like that? Did you ever see that?
Yeah, guy? So I never did.
Oh my God! Now that's inspiration there.
Yeah, and he's the Hoyts, Dick Hoyt. Now I never had the honor of meeting them, but we have met a lot of other great people that are doing that. But yeah, I've seen those videos so many times, and I still, someone's cutting onions in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Same with me. Yeah, yeah. But what kind of bike you use for these things?
So
is it a specialized bike, or you just
Yeah, it's a very specialized bike for these long distance half Ironman and Ironman races. I've got a Cervelo, which is a very specific like time trial bike. It's at a different angle, and you really just contort it into the most aerodynamic position to even where your water bottles are behind you to stop the wind, and you're just trying to go, if it's a half Ironman, 56 miles on the bike as fast as you can, or if it's a full Ironman, 112 miles.
But it's still knobby tires because it's called mountain bike, right?
No.
You have
For
road
Ironman,
tires?
Those are road tires. So you got different ones. The Xterra, that's straight on mountain bike. It's a mountain bike. I have a very large mountain bike that I race on that one. And then for the Ironman and half Ironman races, those are completely road tires and very specialized. And again, we're just trying to save as much time as possible. So aerodynamics come into play.
People have flat tires and have to fix them on the run, or
oh yeah, absolutely.
Are you allowed to have a team, or it's all you?
No, it's all you. You've got to be able to change your tires, fill it up, figure out how you're going to get to A to B. I mean, crazy things have happened. I've done some of these races where like out of nowhere, I'll never forget 2 bee stings.
Oh,
One,
yeah.
by the time it went away, bam, there's another one. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm in the middle of Arizona racing. Where is this thing coming from?
Jeez.
And I still had like 90 miles left on the bike. So,
Now they have like water stops and stuff.
yeah. And so what they do is on the bikes, every 10 miles, there's a aid station, and you don't get off the bike. You just keep riding, and there's volunteers, which are like some of the greatest people, because these races will never happen if we don't have these
Right,
volunteers.
right.
And they'll be out there, and you race by and you grab it, and you can fill your water, and then they have some sort of other electrolyte replacement, whether it's Gatorade or whatever they have, whoever the sponsor is, and you go. And they're awesome. Sometimes you have mishaps. Funny story, I was doing an Ironman, very hot, and as I'm coming through, I just wanted to throw something on me, and I'm like, water, water, water. And they're like, yeah, water. So they give it to me. I don't even check. I just open it up and throw it on myself. And it was red Gatorade. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I just left it. So now I've got another 10 miles before I can rinse off. So I'm just now getting hot and just sticky. And it was just like,
Oh,
oh
yeah,
my
because
goodness.
it's sugary.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
it just makes for the story.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you got some kind of giveaway for the folks, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell us about that.
Yeah. So every single month, Joint Task Force 214, my company, we offer a monthly free training. And so this month, tomorrow is how to grow your business during a recession. But every month, you go to that same website, go.jtf214.com, 214, and you can participate in our free training. And then within that, what you get is coaching from Donald Miller and the Story Brand team. And we pull people that use that link, we pull them aside afterwards, and we do another 30 to 45 minutes of one-on-one coaching with those in the room. And we've covered topics of top 5 things your website needs to make you money, small business finances, how to create sales scripts that close, lead generating assets. And again, like this month, we're talking about how to not just survive a recession or economic downturn, but how to grow and thrive during it.
Right. And this is like a $300 deal that you're giving away, right?
Yeah, it's $295 a ticket normally, but we do this for free. This is part of our give back, because we know that money's tight and people just need a little bit of help. So we can help people. That's what we want to do. And it really helps. And they help us out, if I'm being honest. This is where we get a lot of great super fans and Google reviews, and they wind up coming back to us because the training is, they learn the power of story. And they kind of say, you know what, these guys aren't gurus, because I mean, there's a lot of gurus out there, if I'm being honest, Tom.
No, I'm the only
really
one. I'm the only one. You didn't do your research.
No. We like, this is real. We're giving you free content. I'm not asking you for anything. And that's it. And so we want it really is, it's a give back. So
Beautiful. And that's at go.jtf214.com. Of course, we'll have that in the show notes, everybody. And if they want to get a hold of you directly, what's the best way?
follow us on LinkedIn or YouTube at jtf214.com. And we're very responsive on there. We're always sharing content with it. And that's a great way. And if you go to our website, jtf214.com, you can schedule a call from there. Easy peasy.
So the other thing was go.jtf214.com, right? To
Right.
go to that giveaway page, right?
Yeah, right. So the go.jtf is for the free monthly training. And then if our normal website is jtf214.com.
Wow, great. Well, thanks so much for coming on, man. And now you aren't the first one. You're not the FNG of the vet month. So you're number 3, but 3 is a great number to be on. So
Yeah, absolutely.
So thanks, Marty, and watch out for those bees, man.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Thanks for having me on Screw the Commute. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor.
My pleasure. And folks, make sure you go check out Marty's stuff at go.jtf214.com for the giveaway. Get in that giveaway, and jtf214.com directly to find all his social media and his website and all that stuff. And again, from Myself and all our listeners, we thank you for your service, and all the other great veterans, even if they're not on here. We don't care if they're a vetpreneur or not. We appreciate you. So thanks so much, everybody, and I'll catch y'all on the next episode. See you later.